What's the worst date you've ever been on?
Back in college, I was invited to an ice rink with a girl I liked and some of her friends. I did not know how to ice skate, and I did not pick it up very quickly, but I wanted to try and impress her somehow. Well, I hugged the wall the whole time and made a fool of myself. The highlight was when I saw a flash of light as I fell in front of a group of people. Turns out, I had fallen right at the moment someone took a picture, so my failure was immortalized forever. She took me back to my apartment and ended the relationship before it began. On a lighter note, the woman who is now my wife was at that ice rink on that night. We didn't realize we were there the same time until a year or two into our relationship, and she exclaimed, "You were that guy who couldn't ice skate." Yeah, she didn't seem that into you. Wasn't necessarily the date, which was bad on its own, but the fact that she hung out in my parking lot for 2 hours after she dropped me off, in case I changed my mind about doing something after dinner. Went on a blind date with a lady who wouldn't stop picking at her scabs. Just made a pile out of them on the restaurant table. I excused myself to use the washroom, and when I came back, my soup was there, but the pile of scabs wasn't. No, I didn't eat the soup. Made plans with this guy I knew from a charity I was on the board with. He takes me a chain Mexican restaurant. I pull up a few minutes early, but my dad flies a plane and was going to be flying overhead of the restaurant, and I wanted to see him fly over. At 8 o'clock sharp, the guy calls me and tells me that I am late. I try to explain the whole flyby thing. He isn't having it. We go inside and I try to order some food, and he tells me that we are not getting food and that I can't eat. Then he starts going off on major political rants, which I'm completely opposed to. I ask him if this is all a joke or if he really is being serious. I finally convince him to at least get an appetizer. I was not allowed to choose. He got guacamole, tableside, but only had them put onions in the avocado. I was planning my escape when he asked, "Are you figuring out how you're going to leave?" "Yep. Thanks for the one domestic beer. Bye." Finally, a place to tell this story. I had a very disappointing date in high school. It was the dead of winter, like -40 Celsius. We had gone to a movie, and the whole thing was really awkward. She didn't really seem to want to be there, was very detached. After the movie and the bus trip home, she admitted that the only reason she even agreed to the date with me is because my friend had turned her down a few days earlier. I wasn't aware of that at the time. That's a pretty big letdown and waste of time, but I figured, whatever, I'll head home and find something else to spend time on. I'll get over it eventually. I got off the bus and just wanted to get home as soon as possible. At the bus stop, there is a thigh-high railing around the front of the nearby parking lot. Instead of walking around it, I decided to step onto and then over it. The second I stepped onto it, I realized it was coated in ice. I Charlie Browned the out, just flipped through the air, lost everything in my pockets, ripped my pants from asshole to zipper, and then came down hard right onto the railing with my shin, fracturing it. It's still -40 out. I can't just lay there till help comes, so I fish around in the snow, grab my stuff, try to stuff my balls back into my pants, and stagger home. TLDR, it's not me, it's you. Limped home, balls in the wind. Girl never showed up. I was stood up. I just moved to the bar and drank and ate buffalo wings. That sounds way better than a date. Believe me, it was. I was more annoyed without informed of where my date was, to which I learned later she was at a party instead. But buffalo wings and Yingling makes all problems disappear. I was on a first date with a girl I had met through doing some community theater. We'd gone to the movies to see Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Before the movie, we were chatting and slowly realizing that it definitely wasn't meant to work out. We just had too many conflicting interests and opinions. It made the experience incredibly uncomfortable, especially because we started lightly arguing over things like politics and religion. I was young and I was an idiot. Anywho, before the movie started, I texted another friend of mine to tell her, the friend, how terribly the date was going. And then I heard that fateful sound.
Immediately after clicking send on my phone, my date's phone chimed. She pulled it out of her purse and read whatever text had come in. She then slowly turned to me and asked, "Did you mean to send that to me?" I immediately realized and explained that I had just opened up whatever the most recent message in my inbox was and replied to that with the intention of texting my friend. Or perhaps I'd clicked the wrong name in my contacts list. They both were the only names beginning with M in my phone. Needless to say, she was pretty upset. I explained that, despite our differences, I really enjoyed her company. I really did, because she was brilliant and beautiful. Certainly out of my league. So we continued the date as friends, which was more awkward than we had anticipated. After the movie, we went our separate ways. When I got back to my apartment, I texted that same friend again about how that date was incredibly uncomfortable, and I doubted that there would be a follow-up. My phone chimes. "You sent it to me again."
I think you were the bad half of that date.
I definitely was.
Thank you for watching. Drop your worst date story below, and don't forget to subscribe.